I'm like, maybe he's just taking a break, or maybe he's
Yeah, I
gone
think
for good.
so.
It wasn't really specified.
Nope.
But if you're just taking a break, why do you got to delete your Discord account? Just fucking delete the app.
Well, technically, he didn't delete his account. I don't think,
I think he did because I
because he's in a
added
different
him.
server.
Is he? Oh, maybe he just left the server.
He left the server. Yeah, I know he left the server.
Feels like I added him and then it like disappeared. It was like
Oh,
numbers.
and we're live.
Hello, everyone.
Alrighty. Welcome to tonight's game. We have Rift Sharks and Andromeda.
Oh, we can do better than that. Welcome to the not Seal. Scrim Zone season.
The Seal.
What season is it?
7?
Welcome to the Scrim Zone season 8. First semifinals match between the 2-seed Rift Sharks and the 3-seed Andromeda. We're bringing you an absolute heater tonight, everyone. I'm talking, this is going to be the best match of the entire season so far. I don't know what you'd rather be doing on a Friday night than watching some Scrim Zone with me and Jonah.
Yeah, this should be a pretty interesting game. Both teams looking strong this season, playing some strong rosters, and I'm excited to see what we're going to have.
You are exactly right, dude. Both of these teams are looking very strong, especially in the latter half of the season. I mean, I'd say Rift Sharks seem pretty consistent throughout, but Andromeda, it took them a little while to find their footing, but once they settled on a roster, they just looked so good the last few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Sarvis playing more has certainly contributed to that. I think he helps that team look much stronger than they were looking. But you know, I'm expecting a close game. Hopefully, a game 3, just for the content.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if this didn't go to a game 3, if I'm going to be honest with you. I think this series is as close as it gets. I think you've got very close matchups really in every position, every role.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Avery and Sarvis are going to be. It should be a really close matchup there.
I mean, yeah, like we have Avery, the first season 8 all scrims first team top laner. That's Avery. Everybody knows how good Avery is. And he's going up against Sarvis, the MVP or partial MVP. Split that with Tushini. I mean, how insane is that Sarvis is MVP and doesn't even make an all scrims first or second team?
Well, he's a flex player, so
I'm not going to verify this, but I'd have to imagine that might be the first time that's ever happened. I mean, to be MVP and not even all scrims because he's just that good of a flex player, popping off in so many different roles.
yeah, I don't know.
That's
I'd have
really
to check.
impressive. We're just gonna pretend that it's true if it's not.
Yep, absolutely.
And I mean, if we're looking right now at the champions or the key matchup, Stanley and Dean. You know, personally, I might say Avery and Ben's the key matchup to me, but Stanley and Dean is right there with them. And really even matchup all time. I mean, Dean has one more win than Stanley. KDAs are super close. Key player Sarveris, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely believe that.
Not be the key player.
I mean, he's rocking a 60% win rate right now in his games. On 63 different champions, he'll play anything and everything and look good on it too.
Yeah, you also got PB on the other side. PB has just been historically one of the best support players in the entire server, if not the best. Last season, he was kind of out of the support role, was playing, I believe it was top lane mostly, and did well, but didn't have that same level of dominance that you just expect from him anytime he support. He went back to support this season, and it's not a surprise to me that he's performing so well and that his team is in such a good position.
Yeah, he's looking great on his return to support. He's been playing really well with Evan. They look like one of the strongest bot lanes in the server for sure.
Oh, we're already in draft. We're getting right into it.
We get started here. Andromeda on the blue side. Neela makes perfect sense. Evan being a strong advocate for that champion.
So Rift Sharks had side select everyone, and they selected to go with red side. It's going to be interesting to see, what power are they going to get out of those counter picks? Because that's why you take red side. If you got that first pick, you go blue. They opted for red. What are they going to use that R3 and R5 on? But bans are pretty standard. I mean, you're just banning away like the best champion for 3 different Andromeda players and 2 really good picks from Evan. They're targeting him pretty hard. And then what's Avery's like 13-1 on Darius, so that's obvious. And first pick Syndra, which I like that a lot. Stanley is one of the best Syndras in this entire server. It's a really strong pick right now. It's blindable if you're comfortable on it, which he is.
Yeah, certainly a strong pick. I'm curious to see what Dean kind of thinks the good matchup here into Syndra is. What is his answer to deal with this such a powerful pick?
You can do so many different things into Syndra, and that's what's exciting because I think Dean has shown a really wide range of champions this season. You can go for like an assassin into Syndra. You can also go for another mage to outrange her. You really have a lot of options. But he's actually not even picking a mid laner right here.
Yeah,
And
I mean Volibear from Gnome.
draft.
Yeah, Volibear from Gnome I think makes a lot of sense. It's just a strong engage tool. Can run at the enemy team. Apari, classically known for his Viego.
Yep.
I
Seraphine is
believe
interesting.
that's probably, yeah, I mean, it's going to be Seraphine in the bot lane, probably for Lithy.
Yeah.
I think it's a strong enough pick right now that, I mean, it looks
it's
decent.
Seraphine. Seraphine just is
Yeah.
Seraphine,
It definitely
man.
depends on how Andromeda wants to play as well.
What that indicates to me, though, Seraphine could play either role. I think Seraphine is stronger when farming, so that indicates to me that they might actually flip it, and our graphic might be wrong, and it might be Honan that's actually playing the support role. We'll have to wait and see on that.
Yeah,
But
it certainly could be.
Evan taking Ashe is really interesting. I haven't seen enough Evan to know. I'll look it up after the thing to see his performance on Ashe, but strong champion in the meta right now. And then Silas. Silas is kind of weird to me here. I'm a big Silas fan.
Yeah, I think it's a little early in the draft, personally, to be ripping a Silas.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Seraphine ult is a strong ult. Syndra ult is decent, but I don't know if it's necessarily the kind of ults you're looking for when you lock in a Silas here.
Okay, and we are ripping off more bans. We got a Cassante ban, a Garen ban, and then 2 bans targeted to Gnome. I assume Gnome's already wait. Oh, are they?
Now,
I
it
guess they're
could be
thinking
Volibear top. Avery
Yeah,
has been playing a lot of Volibear top.
That's a good call out. I was sitting here wondering why are we banning these junglers, but yeah, you're probably right. But at the same time, to me, then they're flexing it. They're obviously
Yeah, I mean,
hoping for that
I
flex
feel
pick.
like if they're locking Avery's Volibear that early, then they kind of lose some of the power of Red Side and the counter picks that they were going for.
So what I assume they're doing is they're going to pick it right now and then flex it between jungle and top, and that's going to allow because it's such a good top laner. It's just a lane dominant champion. There's a lot of champions Avery will play it into for Ben, but if Ben has some great pick right here, then you just give Avery counter pick.
Yeah, it definitely forces. Bard is interesting.
I don't think I've ever actually seen Honan or Lithy play Bard, and I'm assuming
I
it's
don't think
Honan.
I have either. I would guess that this sounds more like a Honan champion. I don't even know how the Bard Leona matchup plays.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to wait and see the whole draft before I comment. I'm not 100% sold on the Bard pick, but Jax. Okay, this is a really interesting draft from Andromeda. But then
I
what
mean,
is
Jack's
R5
another
gonna do?
strong top lane champion. Certainly.
I think Jax beats Volibear, so I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a different Avery pick come out. But Jax is just a blindable top laner right now that if you scale, you're gonna win. So like it's just a good champ. But Alawi? What?
I don't know if I like Alawi into
What?
I mean, I think it is technically a winning matchup, right? But I mean, once you go to the late game, I mean, Jax is just gonna tear through this team in a team fight, and Alawi just doesn't have the same team fighting prowess classically.
Yeah, this is interesting to me. I mean, I don't know. Alawi's an interesting pick because I think you've shown on the side of Andromeda that you're wanting to team fight when you pick something like Seraphine. I don't know. I don't think these drafts necessarily are super cohesive. I think every single player picked a champion that they are going to feel comfortable on and that they must think is strong. I'm not really seeing the cohesion necessarily in some of these drafts.
Absolutely.
But it's going to be interesting. I think I don't know. I can't really give a prediction on
Yeah, I
this
mean,
one.
I think that in this game, Rift Sharks does have stronger engage between the Ash Arrow, the Volibear, the Leona. That being said, Andromeda does have strong disengage here, but ultimately it's just going to be probably just very scrappy brawls.
Yeah, the way I see this playing out most likely is, I assume you picked Bard because you picked Seraphine. And the whole point of picking Seraphine is we're going to leave you alone bot lane. You're going to farm. You're going to scale. You're fine if I leave you alone. Honan clearly, I assume it's Honan, clearly wanted to play a roamer. Thresh is banned. What's the next best roam champion in his champion pool? I guess he's saying it's Bard. So his goal is going to be to roam around the map, facilitate the Viego, facilitate the other carries. And if you can get that going, Andromeda's comp is insane if it starts to snowball.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Silas, the Alawi, they'll just absolutely run you over here. But I
And
think the same could be said for Andromeda.
yeah, I think Alawi has potential to just like smurf this game because something like a Jax and something like a Viego, if they're not ahead against Alawi, it's super hard for them to fight her. But at the same time, if Avery is building armor and he's building those type of stats to win against those melee champs, if Stanley's having a good game on Syndra, you can one-shot an Alawi once you get a couple items and once you have that
Oh
extra
yeah,
built into your
absolutely.
ultimate. So if Avery doesn't start snowballing, something like the Syndra could give him a lot of trouble, especially if you're CC comboing with something like the Seraphine. But I want to go back to the mid lane matchup because the Silas pick to me, it's just a weird pick to me. Yes, I guess you kind of beat Syndra in the 1v1, but as someone that plays both champions a lot, I don't even think it's that bad of a matchup for Syndra because one, the Silas ult steal is not very good. Like you don't want the Syndra ult. If as long as you can dodge out on the chains, he really can't get on you. And even if he
Yeah.
does, you still have Scatter the Weak.
He's also going to give up a lot of early game priority in this lane.
Yeah, I mean, if Stanley's playing the lane correctly, he should be able to generate a CS advantage, kind of keep Dean shoved in. He does have to have a lot of attention on his lane because if he's mispositioned and then you time that with a well-timed Noam Volibear gank or even a really good PB roam, which in seasons past PB has just been one of the best players when it comes to roam timings.
Yep.
So if you're sending that help, she can only scatter one person, and if you're coming from multiple angles, then it can get really dangerous. And Silas's follow-up is obviously insane. But I don't know. The Seraphine ult's a good ult steal. Bard ult, kinda.
Bartle's
Not really.
decent.
It's not a great Silas angle
I
for
mean, if
me.
you don't have access to Seraphine ult, I think you're probably just taking Jax ult for the extra resistances.
Yeah, and the Jax ult does actually do a significant amount of damage, like if you use it right on
Right.
top of someone. And the Viego ult, I guess, like it's deep, but there's no S tier ultimate here. Like
Yeah.
maybe Seraphine's like an
You
A
could
tier
count
ultimate.
Seraphine ult, yeah.
I guess, but to me, I don't know though, because to me, this isn't really a team that's going to be like clumped up front to back on the side of Andromeda. So even if you are stealing that Seraphine ultimate, it's probably going to be hard to hit big multi-man ultimates. But
For
we'll have
sure.
to wait. We'll have to wait and see on that.
Yeah, I mean the Seraphine ult. I feel like this Seraphine ult really only has to hit Silas or Ash for it to make a big impact in these team fights.
Yeah, that's probably valid. But I do want to shout out, one champion that I'm a little surprised, or not, maybe not surprised, but I was curious if it would get through or not, was actually Apari's Viego, because he has been performing exceptionally well on that champion, and they've given it to him. So on the season in team format, Apari's most played champion is Viego, 7 games. His second most played is only 2 games. He's 5-2 on Viego, 71% win rate with a 5.25 KD. I mean, that's
Yeah,
impressive.
I think I mean most teams are banning his Kane and just saying we can't dedicate any more bans to Apari. Um, so this Viego just keeps getting through as they pick it in as Andromeda picks it in their first 1, 2, 3 picks every game here.
Yeah, specifically just looking at previous games. So he played it against Rift Sharks earlier this season, went 4-1-7 into Noam's Amumu. He played it. One of his losses, though, was into a Rift Sharks on the Viego. He went 1-4 into Noam's Kane. And then, actually, okay, so his only 2 losses on Viego, I said he was 5-2. His only 2 losses actually did come at the hands of Rift Sharks. So, maybe they're saying we feel like we can deal with it. Everyone else is struggling. Everyone else is letting you pop off. That they feel like they have the answer.
Yeah, I mean, if they know if they know what they're doing, then certainly there's a very real chance that Viego gets shut down here. I mean, because once he gets behind, it's really hard to play these team fights. You kind of just have to sit and wait and hope someone dies before you can really make a big play.
Yeah, very true. And I mean, when you have things like Leona and things like Volibear that have this point-click CC, if Apari ever goes in a little too soon, if he miscalculates his damage and isn't able to get that reset, you can blow him up. Like, it's possible.
Yeah, alright. Well, as we get into the game here, no invades doesn't look... Oh! I take that back immediately, as Andromeda's going to walk into the top side. There go flashes, come out.
I think
No will walk away, but I think Evan is just dead.
Doesn't
As
even
Viego will pick up that first kill of the game.
Okay, well, he burns his flash, chooses to save the barrier. I mean, yeah, you're dead there either way. But giving that kill over to Viego, when we're just talking about that, to me is the X Factor champion on Andromeda. And then you give him a first blood.
Yeah, and I mean, immediately, not only is it a first blood, but it's summoner advantage for Andromeda as well. Ashe now having no flash, and Volibear with no flash.
Very true. Volibear is a champion that he has really strong ganks early game, especially when you factor in the ability to flash stun. When you don't have that flash, his early game prowess is really diminished.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see Jungler's Path top here. I think this top lane matchup has the potential to be extremely volatile. Now, but Apari is choosing to path towards bot lane, maybe abuse this Ashe with no flash, while Noam will go for the bot to top clear.
It's a very good call out. I would agree that normally I think you'd want to... Ooh, but what do we have going on here? Oh, Lippy.
Lippy falling very low, does not have to burn flash, but a good early trade there from the side of the Rift Sharks bot lane.
Yeah, she's in a dangerous spot now. She has both summoners, but as soon as PB hits level 2, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't look for a flashing light.
Now, the Seraphine does have biscuits, just giving her a little bit of that extra sustain in this lane. I mean, they don't give the mana anymore, but I think Seraphine's plenty happy to have this health right now.
Yeah, that's true. And if they can just survive the first few levels, Honan will start having the heals, which he's already picked up, so that can also heal you up. But I do think taking Barrier on the Seraphine versus taking like a teleport, that's an interesting decision. Usually when you run these mages bot, you just go teleport. Like, at that point, you just perma stick in the lane. That'll be interesting to watch. Oh, we have a pause.
And we have a
hate
pause.
To see it.
Alright, well, if we look at the minimap here, we do see Viego walking into mid lane with Volibear right there behind the tower.
Yeah, that's about
Looks
to be...
like we're gonna get some conflict here right as this...
Oh, the stun into the stun! They're not gonna have the damage there, but what a good play. Oh, we froze?
We did freeze. This is not ideal.
Uh-oh.
We are spectator bugged because of the pause, but cannot rewind.
That's cursed.
This is a little cursed.
All right, y'all. This was fun.
Oh,
no, we're back.
okay.
We're back. Yeah. Okay, so pretty standard. I mean, the thing right now is everyone knows where the junglers are going because you just saw both. Apari had blue buff. Noam had blue buff. They're clearly both heading into their red side. It's gonna be hard for either jungler to get a playoff when the other team has full knowledge on their position.
Now that is true, but Sarvaris will have his wave bouncing back into Avery as Noam gets to this top side here.
Yeah, that's true as well. You're right. And he's not going to have any coverage from his jungler because Apari did path bot. He's got to see if Apari can get something from pathing bot.
Apari actually flipping this clear, opting to take his Krugs first, and then walk back towards this mid lane. Not a bad choice, I don't think, but I had expected him to just go bot and try and punish this no flash ADC.
Yeah.
As the Zenith Blade will connect on the Seraphine. Ignite comes down. She's forced to just back up. I think they will manage to get out here. But another good trade from the Rift Sharks bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, Seraphine's fine though. Has barriers, has flash, collects all this farm. She's chilling. That's the problem when you're going to do champions like Seraphine. It's like you have a favorable trade, but you don't actually convert it into anything. You have like a 3 CS
Yeah, especially with Bard down there. I mean, she will just heal right back up.
Yeah, part of doing the red buff last is kind of interesting.
Alright, Gnome here for the dive. The E does not connect.
This is a difficult dive.
Yeah, it looks like Gnome's just going to choose not to go for it after the E doesn't connect. I think that's probably the correct choice here.
I wish the E had connected, just because I don't even think with that it's necessarily a winning play, and I would have liked to see if they could have outplayed the turret, but yeah, they play it safe. They don't feel they need to go for it. And now no one is going to back, and the party's just heading top, so kind of low action, even though we had all the summoners blown early.
Yeah, no, Pari does get his Gromp taken, so he will be one camp down now. Not the end of the world, especially considering he got that early kill, but for now, a minor experience lead for Gnome.
Yeah, Stanley's trading really well out of the Silas, and that's one of the things about Syndra in the melee matchups. A lot of times people think these melee champions counter her, like Echo, like a Fizz, like a Silas, and they do in a little bit. But when you're into a melee champion with Syndra, if you're hitting all your abilities in lane, you're getting your passive stack so much faster that it just accelerates her scaling. So
yeah, and you just get those strong early game trades where those melee champions just can't do much back to you.
Yep.
Before they get some of their higher tier abilities.
He walked up, saw the friends weren't there.
Yeah, I think he's just fishing for camps right now, knowing that his Gromp got taken. Will continue to wander, but not much going on.
You know, Gnome is soloing the drag right now, and the party's just kind of wandering, which is a little bit questionable on the side of the
Yeah, Avery ticking over to 6 here. Apari's gonna go for the gank, but I don't know if it's winning with the Alawi ults.
Yeah,
he chooses to just walk away instead. As Evan falls really low, exhaust used.
Wow.
And Andromeda winning in the 2v2.
Damn, look at that Seraphine and Bard damage pre-back. That's insane. That's pre-back and they're doing that much damage.
Yeah.
Even through the barrier, they find that kill.
I mean, the exhaust comes through, and I mean, there's just nothing that Evan can do there. Just taking so much damage. The execute from the Seraphine Q doing so much work.
Yeah, Dean's taking it back here. He's gonna reset. Stanley hadn't reset either yet.
Yeah, Apari.
Oh, Volibear's behind.
Yep. What? Zenith Blade will not connect. I think Liffy can just walk this out. Uses the flash. Gets stunned up. The barrier comes down.
Oh my goodness. On the heels though.
I think she's just out.
Wow. That feels illegal to me. That
and Honan will be too. Yeah, I mean, so Apari shows on top, right? Doesn't go for the gank, which lets Noam know that he can walk into his bot side. Noam will get a couple camps, a couple more camps, as Apari will now trade for Noam's top side. And then looks for a bot gank. Flash is used around the board. Volibear flashing. Seraphine flash used as well. As now Servaris gets a really strong trade onto Avery here.
Yeah, but I was thinking that they could have frozen the bot lane on the side of Rift Sharks. They just let that huge minion wave crash.
Apari forced a flash away from Bean.
Flash? I don't think he had to flash there. I mean, I guess it is level 7 to level 5, but that's bad.
Dive coming out. Both players will use R, but Avery's in a tough spot here.
Oh, and look at the roam by PD.
Yeah, it was well played by Avery. Servaris is just forced to walk away. Avery managing to pick up that entire wave. Will now take his base with TP still available.
That was really good timing by PB to roam up there. If he'd been there 3 seconds.
Yep, Silas with the Viego ult flashing forwards. Not able to connect the chains as Stanley chooses to burn his flash to get away from that. I think probably the correct choice is that Seraphine damage is so strong. Bean going forward onto Syndra here. Stolen Heartbreaker used, but it's just not enough damage.
Yeah, I mean, I like Bean going flash for Syndra because Bean not having flash is so much safer than Syndra not having flash, and now you want to see Gnome or 2B get another roam off back onto Syndra while this flash time is down.
Yeah, absolutely. Both supports here to cover, but Evan kind of suffering for it in the bot lane as Seraphine in these trades is just stronger.
But to me, if we go back to that dive where Ben almost solo killed Avery, imagine if the Viego is up there resisting that dive instead of just blowing his flash for no reason on Raptors. Like, that would have been a kill.
It's definitely a misplay here from Apari.
I want to see Viego. If you're picking Viego, you need to be playing with these solo lanes. I want to see him going in with a solo laner onto some kind of a play. He needs to be paying attention to his laner's wave states and following up. He has his ultimate at this point. Gonna have to see when this first big team fight breaks out. It's gonna be kind of crazy because I think it's gonna be a big play with how the teams are playing right now.
Yeah, so Andromeda has opted for the early grubs. They managed to walk away with 3 of them. Rift Sharks, no one going for that dragon. The objective trade came through. So as grubs are getting close to respawning here, I'm curious to see where the play will happen. I expect that PB will take a base sometime soon and begin walking up towards those grubs. I'm wondering if Honan will do the same to match.
Yeah. So at 10 minutes, we have a 1,000 gold lead for Andromeda. We have Avery with a sizable CS lead. Evan with a sizable CS lead. Stanley has the CS lead for the side of Andromeda. But pretty even game overall. I mean, a 1K gold lead isn't much.
Yeah, as Honan caught out here, able to get away. Silas will use his ult to take away the Bard ult there.
Yeah, Stanley's stun right there probably saved Honan's life. Got a little bit lucky right there. Caught out in no man's land for a second. But, you know, you're Bard. That's Bard things.
Yeah, as Rift Sharks will turn their attention to these grubs. With PB up there, Andromeda is going to opt not to contest as Apari will walk towards the bot side. Now the dragon will be spawning soon, but if Rift Sharks takes a quick base after these grubs, they could be there to contest, and we could see a fight.
Yeah, good call out on that. You know, they're looking mid right now, but it's really hard to gank a Silas if he's able to like cover to his strong side, which he is. We need to see something positive going for Andromeda with a duo play, but just opting to start the drag. But you're right, they're going to get collapsed on. They have time to get there. If Apari's forced to ult out here, there's no way to play the fight. Yeah.
There he goes. Apari's going to ult out, and Rift Sharks should just walk away with this dragon.
And you know, I don't think we necessarily had to get drag. If we
I don't think so either. Yeah, I think there was definitely an angle for a fight there, but maybe just a little over-eager from Apari, starting that before he had to, and then getting caught in the pit there.
Yeah, they need to be playing more patient. I mean, you have Bardal, you have Seraphine ult, you have Syndra ult. Just allow your teammates to set up for you.
Zenith Blade does connect on the Seraphine here. She will flash.
Big flash.
The ultimate Solar Flare goes wide.
Oh my goodness! Nice combo, but...
Yeah, the Seraphine ult connecting on both. A lot of damage put down as the Zenith Blade on the re-engage does connect. The Volavare ult comes out, and that's a dead Bard. Seraphine now
Apari can clean up here, no flashes.
Flashes forward onto Leona.
Oh, can he get the first reset though? What?
Oh, can't quite pick up the reset, just going 1-for-1 instead as Seraphine will now use Barrier. I don't think this is diveable after the Stormbringer is used. Yeah, Apari had a chance there to go big, but just couldn't get through the CC.
And, I mean, that's because he didn't have the ultimate from having to waste it to get out of the Dragon Pit.
Avery knocking on this tower up here. 3 plates in his pocket.
We got a Mason sighting in chat. Love to see it. We love all the chat interaction, guys. Keep it up. You know, if we're having first items start to come through. It's mostly pretty standard. You know, I like the new build people are doing on Silas where you go Proto Belt or Rocket Belt, whichever it's called nowadays. But it's a lot cheaper and the dash is nice. You like the health. Stanley with a really standard build. And you know, Viego after that last play did just get on Blade of the Ruin King. If he had that last play, probably would look different too.
Oh, absolutely.
Gonna have to see his next play because he's very strong. Excuse me.
Yep, Jax with his Triforce now. That's a big power spike for him. But Ben is down 30 CS in this top lane, evening it out a little bit, but
Yeah, I mean,
trades are not looking
Avery's
to
out
be in
here
his
farming
favor.
really well. I mean, Avery's
Yeah,
farming
PB
really
is now
well.
in top side. His Rift Sharks are probably going to look for this
Stanley
Herald.
with the one shot!
Stanley, just barely doesn't get it. The Solar Flare lands, and I think Stanley's just dead here.
Oh,
Flashes forward, able to pick up the Ashe. Walking away, but Avery will flash in. Now the ults come out, and Rift Sharks picking up this play here. Silas chasing down on Bard here.
Yeah.
Not much else to get though.
Yeah. And you know, I mean, there's 5 of them there. There's only 4 there on the side of Andromeda. Seraphine's gonna get some plates. The plates are gone. Seraphine's gonna get some farm bot. That's unlucky that Stanley didn't have the initial one shot. He's forced to kind of
Yeah, it was really close.
to trade the kills. Very close. And yeah.
But then after he gets locked up and is forced to flash forward, I mean, it looks bad from there. Alawi able to flash to W onto Syndra, finish off that kill there, and then
I do think
Rift
Seraphine
Shark's
picks
just
up
in a
the
good
turret,
spot.
which is, you know, you get first turret.
It is
for
good
that.
it's good for her, as Evan now probably just looking at dead here, does choose to use the barrier, but
Ooh, very close, but yeah, the CC chain. I mean,
yeah,
Seraphine
heading
Bard
bot
is
by himself. Yeah,
disgusting.
heading
CC chain.
Ashe heading bot by themselves into Bard Seraphine. The Seraphine is doing quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, credit to Lithy, having a really good game so far. And at this point, I want to see Lithy start going into that mid lane most likely. That's the one challenge, though, when you're playing a comp like Seraphine plus Syndra. Neither of those champions really wants to extend to the side lane. So it's going to be interesting to see how they navigate that. Because you can't just be you don't want to be A-ramming on either of those champions.
Yeah, but I think Seraphine has to be in this mid lane because she didn't opt for the teleport.
I agree, and with how strong she is right now, with that wave clear on that one item spike, you need to get her involved in these team fights.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could see how much damage she's doing to Ashe just alone. I mean, if you can apply some of her damage to the whole fight, along with some of that healing and shielding, I mean, this Seraphine is absolutely in a position to be able to turn a fight around.
You know, I'm not sure if... Oh, we'll see what happens bot first.
Ari looking on to Evan here. Evan just probably caught, does choose to use the crystal arrow, and will just go down to Diego.
They're
As
coming.
Andromeda's now getting collapsed on. Diego able to use that Heartbreaker to get away, but Seraphine is just caught. She's not going to be able to get away here, yeah.
That's fine, I guess. But, you know, one thing I was going to say before that play was, we didn't shout out Noam enough. Dude is 4-0 right now with a really
Noam
weird
having
build.
an exceptional Volibear game. Now, this is a fairly meta Volibear build from what I've seen. It's Roa into Navori Quickblades. It looks really goofy, but it's strong on Volibear. It basically gives him very short cooldowns. As before he does, but he's able to spam things like that W and just constantly heal up.
Okay, well, I'm excited to see it as we get further into the game, but this is a pretty big team fight right here. Can a party get that first reset is the question.
First reset is picked up, he's low on health and ignited, unable to do any more. As Bard and Syndra now on the run.
Seraphine is coming.
Flash, but Leona's very low.
Seraphine has ult. Noam is squishy with this build, though. That's one thing to point
does
out.
connect on the Ashe, and
Woo!
Evan is just absolutely deleted. I mean, if you thought the Seraphine damage was bad enough,
we've got an Alawi in the Rift Herald.
Yep.
We have an Alawi in the Rift Herald.
The E does not connect. Seraphine
Big ult by
lands on
Evan.
2.
I mean, not by Evan, by Lithy.
Lithy will pick up a kill on this Leona as
Oh, does Noam? Oh, I thought
Andromeda walking forwards. Noam just barely getting out.
Silas is TPing behind.
Oh,
Oh,
Silas TP's in behind.
Crazy. What are the chains?
Stanley's gonna go down here. As Seraphine and Bard do escape, Apari's now back on the map. Silas hijacking the Diego ult here. Enchanted Crystal Arrow connects on the Bard, and he's just killed by Silas.
What is happening? This game is crazy. We have 18 kills in 18 minutes right now. We are averaging a kill a minute in the semifinals. I'm loving it. Dragon is still up though, even after all of that. So Apari's able to start it now, but there's 3 people coming.
Yeah, he started. Yeah. Solar Flare used just to kind of force that Viego away, does not manage to connect. And I will say, as Rift Sharks pick up this Dragon here, that Servaris, off the back of that Triforce, has managed to even out this CS lead top lane. It was looking really close a second ago. The steal is not there, and Apari will just go down.
Dies.
I think that's an ambitious steal. I think you can afford to give that Dragon, and then go back and fight it when you have a full team.
I mean, I would honestly argue you can't afford to give it, but at the same time, you've already lost it before you go for that steal. Like, you lost it with how you played the mid lane play. Like, you just you've lost it already.
Yeah, you have a strong team fight. I think if you just set up around that Dragon, you are able to just fight them off of, their soul. And it's okay to give them that soul point without turning over another kill. With gold now completely dead even off the back of these plays that have been happening, Rift Sharks is sitting... They're happy. They have 3 dragons and 3 grubs. Andromeda just not able to keep up with the objectives.
Yeah, they're getting out objectives so freaking hard right now. It's kind of insane. If we're just going to look at this game objectively, it's insane that they're that far down in objectives, with the gold being this even and with their champions being as powerful as they are. It's not like they have to give these. They're just not taking the right fights. And if you give Ocean Soul over to the Rift Sharks team,
Silas, Ilaoi, Volibear, they all use that Ocean Soul so well. Leona too.
Yeah. You just
that Bard ult does not connect onto Ashe, neither does the Scatter the Weak, and Evan avoiding being one-shot as Liffy is now in danger. Silas going in, the redemption is used, there's the barrier from Liffy.
Uh-oh, we got double TPs!
Out.
Bard is here!
Liffy
Venus going crazy.
Just barely manages to survive. As Avery now might be in trouble, does use the ult. PB is completely locked up, isn't going to be able to go anywhere. Solar Flare, at this point, just a desperation play.
Yeah, finally.
And Andromeda coming out on top of that fight. A lot of TPs invested from both sides.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're losing mid-turret. Okay, they don't lose the mid-turret, but they lost some damage to it. But, they kind of got lucky there, in my opinion. We're seeing why Liffy cannot be in the bot lane. Like, Silas is just going to go on her. I got to see Cinder start going bot at some point. You have teleport. Going mid over and over again is just really trolling their positioning on the map. I mean, Seraphine needs to be the mid lane champion at this stage of the game.
Yeah. Now, some of these second items are starting to come through. There's the Navori on the Volibear. Seraphine has gone for the Horizon Focus, and Stanley's picked up his Storm Surge.
Yeah, Storm Surge is insane on Cinder. That's one of the first.
Yeah, definitely a massive power spike. Evan's going to have to play these fights near perfectly to be able to do
Yeah, I don't think Evan's going to get left in 1 HP. What is that Bard ult? It's a zoning ult.
Ult the wave? But
Avery
I don't know. Avery,
he does have ult.
He does manage to ult, but Jax will go down. The Solar Flare going wide. Silas uses ult. Viego Heartbreaker's out, and there's not much left here.
1-for-1.
As Hoden maybe walked too far, falling really low. Going on a magical journey and just barely managed to get away. And there goes Evan again. That Seraphine damage just too much for this Ashe. That's the, I think, 3rd or 4th time that this Ashe has just been popped through barrier.
I'm sorry, I wasn't familiar with Liffy's game. I did not realize she was just the Seraphine GOAT, apparently. I mean, I don't think it's controversial to say that Evan and PB is the best bot lane in the team format this season.
Yeah, I mean, they're absolutely one of the strongest, if not the strongest.
They probably are the strongest, and Liffy is bodying this matchup right now.
Yeah, Liffy's looking absolutely fantastic on this Seraphine. Aside from some of the side lane play, we'd like to see her get back into the mid lane. I mean, she's just picking up kill after kill onto Evan.
Yeah, playing really, really well. And when I'm talking about the positioning of people on the map. That's not really any individual player. That's a team.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah.
So, you know, that's something the team has to decide. That's not trying to come at anyone specifically, but just when you have these macro movements, if you don't have teleport, you need to have that strong player in the mid lane so that they can be at every fight.
Yeah, Lithy looking like an absolute beast this game.
Okay, Dragon 20 seconds. This is Soul for Rift Sharks. Andromeda has to get this.
Yeah, we have to see Stanley TP over here. There has to be a fight as Silas is caught out. Heartbreaker doesn't connect, but here comes the possession.
Oh, he dodges.
Oh, 4-man Bartle. As the possession comes through, Volibear ult comes down, but I don't know if it's enough.
Wait, do they have the damage?
Lithy is still throwing out healing and shielding. There goes the Seraphine ult, and
oh my goodness.
Andromeda's just picked up a 4 for 0. Evan forced to run away, and they've stopped this Soul.
Okay, we've been talking about it. They finally grouped and they finally did it. But even then, that was close. That took an insane stun by Stanley into the Seraphine ult, or else Avery was about to kill everyone. I mean, it was close.
Quite possibly, yeah, but now Andromeda's going to turn to this Baron.
And I mean, shout out Bard, 4-man ult. That was, if anybody still remembers last season, that looked like a Dr. Dad play right there. That was an insane Bard ultimate. Really well played by him.
Great 4-man Bard ult, and there's just so much sustain between this Bard and the Seraphine. It's hard for Rift Sharks to secure these kills. They really have to be able to burst out one target. And if your Silas is dead, there's no chance you're going to be able to do that. Silas now walking forward, does use the Bard ult.
Baron at 5k, Noam is going to have time to get there. This is going to be a 50-50. Unless they just turn off and take the fight.
Andromeda turning off the dragon.
Wow.
Dean going low. Yeah, it's great.
Starvers with a huge spike on Jax.
Evan forced to flash away. Jax has no mana, looking really close, and both teams will walk away. Nothing else, but I don't think that Andromeda can go back to this Baron. I think they're too low here. They're gonna just take their resets. But
I think after they got Dean, they probably could have still got Baron. So honestly, if you're the side of Rift Sharks, you're not mad at that. Like, I mean,
Avery picking up that tier 1 tower in the bot lane, yeah.
But I also don't dislike Andromeda not going for a 50-50 because at this point, you just saw what happens if you get a favorable team fight. Don't give them the 50-50. There's no reason to do that.
Yeah, I think a 50-50 here and a lost Smite fight is the way that you lose this game from here.
Yeah, you do not want a champion like Alawi to pick up a Baron buff because Ben is holding his own right now in this counter matchup, playing really well on the Jax. But if you give Alawi a Baron,
she's gonna knock down some of your towers. Yeah, you will lose some of these towers.
Just taking stock of the game after that last team fight. Oh, we got to fight though.
No walking forward towards this Jax. The chains do not connect, and Jax will just be able to walk away.
Yeah, it just gets out.
Importantly, with all that fighting, all of the major shutdowns are still on these Andromeda members. Rift Sharks were not able to collect any of those shutdowns.
Very true. You know, I mean, Lithy still has you have flashes on the Syndra and on the Seraphine, two of the more vulnerable champions on the side of Andromeda. So, I mean, if they're positioning well, it's going to be really hard to take them down.
The stun from Viego doesn't quite connect, as Volibear will just be able to back up, and Andromeda will knock down that top lane tier 1.
So, I mean, you were correct about the build Noam opted for, and he had a really strong early game, but my question when you started discussing this build was, you got to be so much squishier on this build.
Yeah, you definitely do feel the lack of tank items.
And when you're into a Syndra and a Viego, it's like, can he not just get popped? Like,
yeah, the build is strong, but I think I don't know. Especially
if you're getting the auto, I would assume.
Especially
you need the Navori to work.
Yep. Especially into teams with a lot of CC, we could see the build really start to suffer. With Noam having significantly less impact than he did at the start of the game here.
Yeah, good call out. I mean, okay, let's take stock. So we're like 4k gold down on the side of Rift Sharks. What is your win condition at this point? It's hard. Normally, I would say you want to scale the ADC, but Ash is pretty in a rough spot.
I think your win condition just has to be to pick up some of these shutdowns and play around this Sylas. I mean, I think the Sylas is a lot of your damage here, especially as you're burst onto some of these squishier targets.
Yeah.
I think it's important for him to not get picked at this point and to be able to play with his team.
That is true. We were talking about that big team fight they won ahead of the last dragon. That started with Silas face checking and losing all his health.
Yeah, both fights started with that. From
Yeah.
from the dragon fight, then transferred up to the Baron fight. Silas walked into the Baron pit by himself and died.
So maybe it looks differently if Dean isn't the one getting initially gone on. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But we're in a tough spot right now if you're Rift Shark, because I think you kind of want to play for the Alawi split push, but you've got multiple champions that can just wave clearer, and Jax is doing really well in Doer. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, the problem is with Ashe this far behind, you're forced to play this really close-range game into Seraphine, Syndra, and Bard. And, I mean, it's great. Like, they love it. If you have to try and walk into them, it's great.
I do agree with Arnold in the chat that, Alawi could carry this game, but that's going to kind of require Andromeda to misplay into the Alawi, because we've talked about the CC they have, and the only MR that Avery has is the Merc Treads.
So this should be a good fight for Rift Shark. Silas does have the Seraphine ult, and they were the first ones into River.
Yeah, I haven't been paying enough attention. How do they have this positioning? Like, how are they the ones there?
Andromeda just not there to set up. The Bard ult will connect on the 2. There's the Seraphine ult.
Pin with the flank. Huge counter strike.
I'm waiting to see for the Silence's Seraphine ult.
Oh, Diego's dead! Diego's dead!
Diego's dead, but it looks like Andromeda's still winning the fight.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah. Jax does get popped, but it's, 3 members strong. They will just be able to run down this Ashe. A much closer fight than the last one we saw. I think it's good play from the side of Rift Sharks, but at this point, it's so hard for them to use this comp into the Andromeda one.
They have no threat on the Stanley and on the Liquid. Like, that's the problem. At this point, you bursted out Diego before he even got a reset, which is huge, but you have no threat onto this backline. I'm pretty sure Stanley flashed aggressively there. Like, I don't know. It's really difficult at this point.
Yeah, this Seraphine being as strong as she is, not only is putting out the damage numbers she's putting out, but, she's also giving you the healing and the shielding.
Yeah, and I talked about it the draft that I didn't necessarily see the cohesion on the Andromeda draft, but I take it back, because if you have this strong backline of Syndra plus Seraphine, and you're just boosting the Jax plus Viego to go forward, they're giving you the ultimate set up, and
Bard will get caught here.
Oh, nice ult by Dean. Yeah, Honan should die here, I think. Good flash.
Forced to use the flash, but will get away.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Random flash by Honan there, I guess. Probably shouldn't get caught, but
yeah,
nothing too big in the end. Classic Honan play, Arnie says. I agree.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I like the comp at this point when your Seraphine is this strong.
And another pause comes through.
Look, Evan Mom is
Evan Mom diff.
Pause. Hey, I'd be. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. Yeah, it's a close game right now, but I don't know. I think it's fair to say that Andromeda is in a strong position.
Oh, absolutely. At this point, they have 2 dragons. They're starting to, bring the objectives back. They are up about 5k going on 6k gold here. They're certainly in a strong spot.
Gnome is just in a bush. Oh, we froze again.
We're having the spectator pause again.
We'll be back. Don't worry, guys. Yeah, and
Andromeda just able to play this in a death ball. And there's not a lot of tools from the side of Rift Sharks to really force them to separate.
Yeah, and Captain Coffee's right. It's a huge lead when you have double Ocean Drag plus 5k. But maybe if you can get that dragon on the side of Rift Sharks, if you get that soul, maybe the soul gives you the power to just start turning around. Yeah, if you
can get the soul, there's a world where this game might start to look differently. It becomes significantly harder to kill members like this Volibear and like the Alawi. And maybe that's just what they need, is Jax walking forward, both ult. Not Jax ult, Alawi ult used, but that is so much damage onto this Jax.
Yeah.
He will be able to just walk it out with those Qs, but...
nothing super impactful there.
Yeah, but this Alawi is immensely strong in the side lane.
Yeah, and if Alawi does end up with an Ocean Soul, you're not going to be able to deal with her. That is probably going to be true. So that's your win condition if you're the side of Rift Sharks. Probably is just playing for Ocean Soul, playing for Alawi split push. And at this point, you know, maybe you just flip a Baron at some point, 4v4 if you can.
Changed and Heartbreaker connects onto Viego. Bard now in a bad spot. They will just take the pick on the Bard, and maybe they might turn towards this Baron here.
Yeah, I mean...
With Viego at half health.
Yeah, Syndra just teleported. You have no one to match the Alawi bot. If you're Rift Sharks here, you just kind of...
Alawi opting not to split push and to show up for the team fight. Alawi CP coming in as Jax walks forwards onto the Sylas. Does use the stop option.
Seraphine ult!
Seraphine ult connects on the floor. Puts Alawi ult is going absolutely massive.
Oh, man, yeah.
As Rift Sharks is able to win a fight there.
Yeah,
I think we said it before, but Andromeda doesn't have engage tools. They really, really want Rift Sharks to try and walk into them. And when they're making aggressive plays like this, Alawi is able to just kind of soak the damage.
That was really difficult. You've already lost a man, and they weren't even on the Baron. It's not like you were forced to take that fight. They just kind of opted to. And, you know, I get why. You have Seraphine feeling really strong. It's a bad ultimate, but without Viego... Seraphine and Syndra, unless they're putting everything on to like the Alawi, probably can't kill her. Like you need the Viego they're hitting.
Yeah. Now this gold lead is now closed to about 2k. Rift Sharks with a Baron, looking to see what towers that they can collect on the map, see what gold they can pick up to look to make this an even or winning game for them.
It's surprising to me that the most deaths on the side of Andromeda is actually Apari on his like comfort champion. I mean, 6 deaths is kind of unfortunate, especially how well your carries are playing. I mean, he's just been getting caught all game, and I don't think that's unfair to say.
Yeah, it's just this Viego champion it's just so squishy, and into a comp like Rift Sharks where you don't have an easy burst target. I mean, there's just not a lot that you can do in these team fights without just getting blown up.
And I mean, at this point, too, Evan has farmed up to 3.5 items. It's not like Evan is weak anymore. Like, if he gets...
No, he's not out of the game.
And this is anybody's game at this point.
Yeah, with the Spirit Visages coming through on both Volibear and Alawi is... Seraphine is caught here. Bardolt will come down, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow connects, and there goes your strongest member. Seraphine is just dead.
We're just getting caught on the side of Andromeda non-stop.
Apari forced to flash away, is not going to be able to get out, and Stanley going to be forced to run. Can't even do that.
Yeah, man. Well played to Rift Sharks, just finding pick after pick after pick.
Yeah, this is going to be a... This might be a 5 for 0 for the side of Rift Sharks. Yeah, it comes through. There's the ace,
and
a clean 5 for 0, and the Ocean Soul. I mean, Andromeda's on the back foot now.
How quickly does 5k gold lead and 2 drags just disappear? I mean, at this point, it's getting really difficult for the side of Andromeda.
Yeah, this Ashe, after all this, has stopped dying, now has a 400 gold bounty, and Rift Sharks are just going to start walking down mid, maybe even look for the end here.
Yeah, and I mean, when you have this team comp that Andromeda does, like, with the Jax, you'd normally want to play for side lane at this point in the game, but you're into Alawi, so you can't really do that. And you don't have the sustained damage to just kill these Ocean Soul buffed up members in a team fight.
Yeah, I mean, the only AD members of Andromeda are melee members, and this Viego just gets popped, and this Jax, he's strong, but he just can't do enough. Well, he was strong. I mean, at this point, he's down almost 2 whole items here.
Yeah, at 2 levels. At this point, the Jax is actually kind of weak. I mean, Alawi's Alawi at this point.
Yeah.
You know, maybe when Stanley gets the death cap, that's almost completed. Like, maybe he can find that burst. Because at this point, Andromeda has to pick someone. They're the ones that are getting picked. They have to start picking someone and get a man advantage. I don't think they win 5v5 anymore.
Yeah, Rift Sharks really bringing together that coordination. I felt like they kind of wasn't there at the start. They will look onto Sarvaris here, and I don't think there's anything he can do. We'll be able to ward hop over the wall, and the Bardolt will get him out.
Yeah, does just walk it out, but Yeah, I don't know. I mean, right now we have Seraphine sitting bot, matching the Alawi. I just don't like that when you have teleport on these other members. But
Yeah, I mean, she has the wave clear. She can kind of stay out of Alawi's range here, just kind of clear waves.
Yeah, the Sender could do the same thing.
And here's the power of this Volibear, just throwing out W after W, trading virtually no health into this Jax.
I'm seeing it now. Once he got that Spirit Visage, he started getting a lot tankier, and he can't get blown up by the same thing.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow connects into a party, followed by the Solar Flare, and Diego's dead, yeah. Richard's walking forward onto this tier 2. Volibear ults in, and looks like not much else will happen. But these Andromeda members are just forced to walk back to their base. As towers and inhibitors are going to come crashing down. I think it's going to be at least 3 inhibs, if not the end of the game here.
This could be the end of the game if they want to go for it.
Hydra coming down onto the Seraphine ult. Does have that in his pocket. Is stunned up, but able to dash to safety. Is this Alawi just down here knocking on this bot lane turret? I think it will go down, yeah.
I was talking just a few minutes ago about how much I liked the Andromeda team comp, but it's not a team comp you're allowed to get behind on. It's not a team comp you're allowed to throw on. You can't make mistakes on this type of a comp.
Yeah, and the situation now completely reversed with Andromeda down 5k. I think it looks really tough for them to get back into this game from here.
Yeah, because if you're the side of Ripshark, you just set up for Baron in 20 seconds. It's going to be so hard for them to contest because they're going to be walking in blind. And, you know, I imagine it's either going to be Bard or Kari just walking into a one-shot here, and then you just take Baron for free. Maybe by a little bit more. Good stun. You know, maybe this is your angle, but
you've already lost your Bard. Viego. Okay, so Viego has a reset now. Walking into the team, a great Seraphine ult does connect. A second reset comes through. Jax golden in the middle of it, able to hop to safety, but Lithy is by herself on the side here. Is going to go down, and then Jax
Apari's resetting,
fighting. Apari's got another reset. He's the Volibear now, but this Alawi is still alive, and Apari's forced to try and get out. Zenith Blade doesn't quite connect, and Viego is going to be able to walk this out. Now, if you're Andromeda, I think you're happy with that fight.
I mean, you're happy with, but that split focus was trash. You had Apari going onto the onto Noam, and you had Ben just running right past that fight and just diving onto the PB plus Avery.
Yeah, I mean, I think Lithy's just too far away from that fight. I mean, she's on the other end of that fight by herself, fighting off members of Rift Sharks.
She hit a good ultimate, which is...
I mean, she hit a great ultimate, but she was alone on the flank. I mean, as soon as she hits that ultimate, everyone just turns onto her. And she just can't fight off this Alawi and this Leona by herself.
Andromeda needs to be hitting the same targets. Like, this is a team comp where you need to be hitting the same targets.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're splitting focus at the end of that team fight. But I mean, I don't know. With Ocean Soul Filbo the Alawi, you don't have an ADC, I don't know how you wouldn't kill. And...
I think Apari's just caught out here. This Viego, this Viego just going to die as the 3-man Seraphine ult does connect, but I don't know if it's enough. Zanya's used by Silas, but he will manage to connect. And, okay, Silas goes down, but I think Jax is going to go down here as he just runs into 4 members. Bard trying to do everything he can, but now Bard is just going to be fought too, and we're looking at the end of the game here.
Yeah, I think we are.
Stanley is strong, but he certainly can't do it by himself, especially not into all of this MR.
Yeah, I think Risharks is going to take game 1 here.
Maybe Syndra can clear this wave and just buy them just precious extra minutes, but Zenith Blade does connect, Solar Flare connects, and Syndra goes golden, but she's just dead. Bard doing everything he can to clear that wave, but a cannon will survive. And
It looked scary there for a minute, but well played the Rift Sharks. They had the lead early, they lost it in the middle, and they just commanded hold the last 10 minutes of the game. Very, very hype game one, though. Very hype game one. Well, great.
Yeah, I mean, if the rest of the series is played like this, I think it could go either way. Just a couple mistakes from Andromeda. And if
I'd say more than a couple, but
well,
I don't know, man.
But
If you had told me before the game that we were going to have 7-4 Stanley, 7-4 Lithi playing insane, and that it was going to be the Viego with 10 deaths that was kind of, if you want my opinion, was the weak point this game.
I mean,
I wouldn't have guessed that in 100 years. That's not how I would have. I mean, I would have personally think that Jungle was your hardest winning side on the side of Andromeda, and it's just not there. You know, Jax had a rough game too in the end.
Yeah, I mean, just unable to get the counter pick.
Yeah.
I think Andromeda needs to go red side, and they need to give that counter pick to Sarvaris. If he doesn't have agency, I think this Andromeda team just looks worse.
I mean, I think Avery's just too good if you're going to give him counter pick. Like, Avery just got his counter matchup. Sarvaris played the early game really, really well to keep it close, keep it competitive, but I mean, Avery got to see the entire draft and just picked the perfect champion on R5. But yeah, I'm excited for game 2. Going to be interesting to see what draft changes occur. You know, I don't know. I liked the mage pick out of bot lane for
I think that the
Andromeda.
mage pick for bot lane is good. I don't think it's necessarily bad. You just have to be mindful of all of the tank picks that are available, and I think I'd like to see a different jungler.
You're saying instead of Viego?
Instead of Viego.
I
think you need something. I don't know what you'd play.
I think you play Viego and you just play better. If you want my honest opinion.
Yeah,
that was a bad performance
valid.
by one of your strongest players on his strongest champion that he's been getting all season. That was just a bad performance. If he was playing a little cleaner, if he was playing around those team fights, but also not even just him. Like we pointed out, they should never have been 3-0 dragons in the first place with how the early game was.
That is true, and I mean Andromeda was up 2 kills to 0 for a long time there, had about a 1k gold lead very early in the game, and just
And I liked the Volibear pick for Noam. You know, I think Noam had a rough few final weeks, and he was getting forced onto like a Moo. I'm pretty sure he played a game of Sejuani. He was playing like these hard tanks. Hard not in the sense of like difficult champions, but hard and just like it's a tank. Like it's a hard tank champion. The Volibear kind of gives him the ability to be that frontline for his team, but it has so much more agency in the early game, and he started off the game so well.
Yeah. Certainly. The one thing that I do worry about with the Viego here, though, is that Apari's only lost on it to Rift Sharks, and I think Rift Sharks are proving once again that maybe they just know what to do into this pick.
Yeah, I mean they caught him out a bunch, but it's hard for me to sit here and be like, Rift Sharks played that so well into the Viego when I just watched Viego walk up. I watched Viego waste his ultimate to get out of the dragon pit. I watched him face check. Like I don't know. I'm disappointed because I know how good Apari can be on that pick, and I think I wouldn't be mad if he just ran it back because I know he could do better on it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think that's a fair argument for sure.
I do think you're right that they need to go red side. You have to get that counter pick for Ben, I think, for Sarvaris.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's when he's his strongest, when he's in a comfortable matchup, one he likes, and can play to his ability. He certainly has the capacity to just take over and carry a game. We're just unable to see it there.
Yeah, I really wouldn't be surprised if we don't get kind of a salty run back, like very similar champions. You just go red side and you give that last pick to Ben and get him the favorable matchup this time. Because I think if Syndra is available, you take Syndra again. I think if
absolutely.
Seraphine's available, you can probably take Seraphine again.
Yeah, and Silas for most of that game just not looking like a strong champion. I'm curious to see what Dean...
No, I think Dean got hard bailed out that game. Like,
yeah, absolutely. I'm wondering what his I wonder what his adaptation will be I don't think the Silas pick should be the go-to pick here. I don't think it's
No,
doing what you need it to do.
no.
I think the other members of Rift Sharks just looked better.
No, there's an alternate timeline where everything I've just said about Apari is getting said about Dean. And he got a little bit lucky there. And I think part of that's because you just picked it too early in the draft. But we're already back into draft. They did flip the side. We're going to have to see. Bans. Gwen ban is the same. Thresh ban is the same.
Neela ban, also the same.
Because I think if you're Andromeda, I don't even think there's any champion on Rift Sharks that you're like, we need to ban. Like,
I don't think there's a champion that you're more scared of than the champions that you were already
But they are scared
banning.
of the Volibear. Noam is drawing a ban.
I think that's fair. I think the Volibear can be a strong flex for the side of Rift Sharks. I don't think it's the most egregious ban here.
Yeah,
I think Darius also a good choice.
Yeah, it's not a bad ban by any means. What did they leave open, though? I'm trying to remember what they banned instead of...
Hui.
Hui. Oh, if you're Rift Sharks, you probably just first pick Hui here. Unless you want to deny Syndra.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think if they take Hui, then Andromeda is happy to just handshake the Syndra for the Hui. Both are strong champions right now. Both do a lot for their teams. Now, Kog'Maw is the choice. Kog'Maw is one of the stronger ADCs right now.
Kog'Maw is interesting to me, and it's also like... I think it's kind of throwing the gauntlet at M31, because if you pick something like Seraphine again, Kog'Maw is just going to build like some magic resist on second, third, whatever items, and you're going to be having a problem where he's going to become difficult to kill. But Xerath was left open, and Xerath is taken.
All right, Xerath is the pick. Now, I think this has to be a Honen pick. I don't think that we'll see Stanley take this one.
No, it's a Honen pick
means
for sure.
Yeah, so Honen's going to take it, most likely ADC, and I think we'll see Lithy on some form of support here.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
yep.
So it's Xerath plus Nami.
There goes the Nami. I take away an enchanter from the Kog'Maw. We do have to worry about a potential Lulu. I'm not sure if PB would play it. I think he prefers his engaged supports, but it is a possibility here.
I'm just, I mean, if you're gonna pick those two champions, no matter what the enemy team picks, I can respect that R1, R2. But at the same time, I would have just taken Syndra again. Stanley played so freaking well on the Syndra.
Okay, Zach coming through. I'd say that this is 100% for Noam. I don't really see this going anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean,
know it started to see.
Top,
I know it started to see some resurgence in top lane, but I just don't think that's the place for it, and I don't think Avery is the person that you want to be piloting as Zach.
No, it's a Noam pick, and it's really good into the bot lane that they've already drafted. And if you're Rift Sharks here, you have a Kog'Maw, just pick a 5v5 team comp front to back. Like, yeah, it's already so difficult.
PB takes the Leona again. Leona's still obviously a very strong champion, has been for a while now.
It's just already difficult for the side of Andromeda to play. Like,
honestly,
team comp.
Okay, I think I like this Skarner pick. I think Skarner is a very strong champion.
It is.
But I don't know if it's the best pick here, but I like that Andromeda is trying to change something up. They feel like they need to do something different.
Skarner's a really strong pick right now. I don't know. I haven't seen enough Zach lately.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that matchup per se, but Skarner's one of the best junglers in the game, in my opinion.
I think if Rift Sharks keep taking tankier champions here, I think there's absolutely an Aurelion Soul angle for Stanley.
Yeah, there is. A-Soul can be really difficult to pilot into the engage of like a Leona and a Zac, but you're also
it can be, but I
assume they're going to blind pick Stanley here too, which is even more challenging.
Right, but I think that if you're not taking a ranged AD carry, especially with no Viego in the jungle anymore, you might struggle with some of that. To have some of that 80 damage to get through some of these healthier champions that Rift Sharks are drafting. And I think A-Soul is a great solution to that problem.
Yeah, honestly, Andromeda's comp needs an 80 carry, like in my opinion, and A-Soul is like the closest thing Stanley plays to an 80 carry because it has sustained damage.
There's the A-Soul. I mean, it does get through the tanks, if nothing else. right?
It's just something like Zach is so good at getting onto a soul, but if Stanley can position really well and Zach ever goes in and doesn't reach him, then Stanley can burn through the Zach really fast. So I don't hate it, but to me, oh wow, Cassidy, I didn't know Dean played
Cassidy the pick into
Cassidy.
that.
And
The
Mundo,
Mundo
oh
blind top lane.
God,
Mundo is a
dude,
plenty strong champion, but is easily countered. And I think that
Oof, yeah.
Servaris here could be able to pick up a strong counter to this Mundo.
What's the pick into Mundo? I don't even know.
I mean, Mundo
It's
just
Vayne.
doesn't
Go
do anything.
Vayne.
Go
Go
Vayne.
Vayne. Go Vayne.
No, this
Tom.
Mundo champion just doesn't do anything early. I like the Yone. I think Yone looks pretty good here. I think it helps
That's
you get
hype.
onto this Kog'Maw.
That's really hype, actually, in my opinion, because I assume Yone must beat Mundo. He wouldn't have picked it if it didn't. And
I'll
Yone
be honest,
definitely
most
beats
champions
Cassidy.
early in the game will just pummel Mundo into the dirt. It's really once he starts getting his, that second item. The first item helps him get through lane, but it's really when he starts getting that second, third item that he really starts power spiking. And I think Yone has plenty of capacity to absolutely bully this Mundo before he gets to that point.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, Rift Shark's draft to me just screams, we don't think you're good enough to close a game out, so we're just going to pick a ton of scaling, and you're going to throw like last game, and we're going to scale, and then you're not going to be able to win. Like, that's what it says to me.
It feels maybe a little bit ego, but I mean, this Aurelion Soul pick, if you let it go too late, I mean, that pick is no joke.
That is true. Cassidy at the same time, but I don't know, man. A full bit like if Yone scales, they're gonna have the side lane this time. They didn't have the side lane last game because Alawi became a problem no one could deal with. This game, Yone, I'm pretty confident in saying this, can match the Mundo or the Cassidy late game in the side lane, no problem, and then you're having to send multiple people. This is Sarver's game to carry. We saw last game, Avery got that R5, he carried that game at the end. This is Sarver's turn. If we want to see a game 3, he's going to have to be the one to just pop off this time.
Yeah. Now we are also looking at a lot, I know it's Cogmaw, but we are looking at a lot of magic damage from the side of Rift Sharks. Mundo later in the game will do more physical, but that Cogmaw does do a lot of magic damage.
That's a very good point. And, maybe somebody like the Skarner can become very difficult to kill.
Yeah, and especially if Skarner hits some of these big impales, then, I mean, both teams look like they could have some strong team fights here.
Yeah, that's true. I wasn't even thinking about it. Like, when you consider Skarner ult plus the Yone ult plus the Aurelion Soul ult, they were having really good combinations last game on the side of Andromeda with their ultimates. If they're able to keep that synergy this game, we could see some crazy team fights.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to me as well. Noam last game we talked about, they gave him the volley bear. He had that early game power. Something like Zach does not have that same early game prowess. Has to farm a little bit, has to scale.
It has the ability to make some of these early game ganks, but doesn't necessarily have a lot of damage. A lot of the damage is going to be dependent on the solo laner or the laners themselves to put out. I mean, Zach can be there with the CC to just help you out, but a lot of the damage is up to you.
And there's also not a ton of damage in the solo lanes of Rift Shark's early game.
Yeah, not much at all. I mean, I
don't know. My thing with, so you pick Cassidy because it does counter Aurelion Soul. Like, that is true. It scales really hard. But to me, the way you counter Aurelion Soul is not scaling alongside him.
Yeah.
Even if you are a counter pick per se. Like, to me, you beat Aurelion Soul by not allowing him to scale. And this game, Stanley just gets to freeform. And, Dean does too, so that's fine. And, Dean's saying, I want that matchup, but...
Yeah, I'd have to agree. And in this case, Aurelion Soul, unlike Syndra, is a little bit safer in those side lanes. Able to just press W and run away when he, when they smell danger. There's plenty of side waves to be caught here.
Yeah, Cass, that is the thing, though. It's like he is safer, but Cassidy also in those side lanes can run you down. But Aurelion Sol can match the Mundo, and Yone is going to beat Cassinan in the side.
Absolutely. I mean, I
So, yeah.
Cassidy would have to be wildly ahead, I think, to really have a chance at matching Yone in these side lanes.
Yeah, extremely ahead. If Yone's on 2-3 items, I just think he beats every champion in the game. That's in this game, at least.
Yeah, I mean, that Bork, we all know how strong Yone's Bork spike is. And I mean, Bork, this game just looks even better. I think all of these champions are happy to
Yeah.
are happy to build some health.
Every
And
single champion is going to build health. I mean,
and
Cassidy
Yone
builds
loves
health. Like,
that.
they all
Yeah.
build health. Yeah, this is a great Yone angle. Man, I mean, you're seeing two of the best players in the server. Avery last game, first team top laner. Ben Sarverus this game, MVP, taking that 5 slot on red side and just picking these carry champions. And it's just fun to see. You love to see the best players getting put in the best position to just showcase their skills.
Now, hopefully, we start getting into game here soon.
Yeah, it should be pretty soon, I would imagine.
They are about a minute into this game, so we'll get access in a minute and a half.
Yep. And that's another thing too. We didn't really talk about it a ton. Like Honan Zerath is one of his best champions of all time. I would say it is his best champion. Like he's drawing a Thresh ban, but to me,
yeah,
his Zerath is insane.
Certainly very strong. I just don't know who he's killing in this game.
Yeah, he needs to get ahead this game. If he's even or behind, there's not really a ton of targets. Although, when you have the divers of Yone, of Skarner creating space for you, you know, he can still get some artillery fire down. And I would honestly like to see him go for a build that's not just that raw burst build. Maybe he goes for something like a Leandries and goes for that burn damage build. If anybody's in the chat, who are you taking after you see the drafts for game 2? Arnie says he has Andromeda bias. That's crazy, Arnie. I thought you were an unbiased individual. I do think the comp. I agree with you, though. I do think their comp is really good, and like we've discussed. I mean, I don't know. It is interesting to me. Like, I think it's fair to give Honan the Zerath because he plays it so well. But Lithy had such an insane game on the farming carry last game that I wouldn't have been mad if they just stuck with that too.
Yeah, Lithy definitely showing up in this series. I believe she won or tied for most improved as well.
Yeah. We definitely didn't even cut that out. Yeah,
definitely proving it as she put on a great performance game 1.
Yeah, Lithy's had a great season, and by all accounts, from what I've heard, she's a really great teammate. Just everyone at Andromeda has enjoyed playing with her this season. And yeah, I'm excited to see the Nami. I mean, anytime you have a player like Honan can do it, Lithy can obviously do it. These players that can flex between the positions mid-series, it gives your draft such a dynamic that you just don't have otherwise. It makes it so much harder to prep against you too.
Oh, here we go. Hopefully getting into game here. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready to get into game. I mean, Arnie's just spitting facts in the comments. You love to see it. I do 100% agree that Rift Shark comp has the ease of execution, but you're right. The Andromeda skill ceiling in that comp is insane. Like if you just start playing these team fights well, You can just pop off on these champions. I mean, you've seen it. If anyone's been watching Worlds, you've seen the plays that a Skarner and a Yone can make to just turn games on their head completely. And looks like we are getting into game. Yes, we are. Let's go.
All right.
Okay, and I'm very happy to report that Honan took teleport. So we have Mage has teleport this time. It's going to make it so much easier to play out the macro style.
The Rift Shark spot lane looking for another one of these early game cheeses. Now, once again, I will say this Zac is pathing top, or Noam is pathing top, and Apari's pathing bot. I think that's a mistake from Apari. I think you'd like to just absolutely put this Mundo in the dirt and let your Yone become this super powerful carry.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I'm not sure why he's pathing bot this time. Last game I could kind of understand it because you'd blown that flash. But this game, yeah, I think and you don't even have flash on Mundo, you have Ghost. But at the same time, Skarner can gank from so many different angles that he kind of has place in every lane. I would also potentially even like to see him go mid early. Like, Stanley is doing a really good job of bullying the melee champions early game.
Yeah,
getting
absolutely.
them low, and Skarner has insane ganks on the mid lane. One of the best champions is ganking mid lane early.
Yeah, the ability to run through walls. Both of these junglers, actually, with their ability to just head right over or through those walls, makes them formidable gankers, even in mid lane.
Oh, Apari is looking top right here, but it's kind of hard when Avery has that passive up that's going to just deny the push unless...
Yeah, I think we have to see a Yone knock-up before Skarner comes through this wall. The Stanley burning Kassadin down very low in mid lane.
I mean, Apari goes
Mundo just backing up.
but...
Apari, not much to get there. Sort of just wasting some time as Zac is down outside. Mundo incredibly low. Servaris just not quite able to finish off that kill.
We got another
Pause will come through.
Okay. You know, I mean, Apari really just spent a lot. He traded time and tempo to give Cerberus a big health advantage. And we'll have to see if that ends up being, like, valuable, but Zac has a pretty big lead on the clear at this point. Already on his... It's going to be 2 camps ahead before Skarner even touches his next camp.
Yeah. I don't know if I like the pathing. I think I prefer the full clear from Skarner, but we'll have to see if it can pay off. Now, there is a chance here that Yone is able to complete a successful dive. If Yone is able to complete a successful dive here in top lane, then that pathing is absolutely worth it, and your Yone is off to a great start.
True. Nope.
Yep, it's just going to freeze up as it has the other 2 pauses, and here we go, we're already back to live. The Zenith Blade does connect.
Good bubble, guys.
The bubble will land, and just a little bit of trading coming out here. I think it's a roughly even health exchange as Skarner now walks down onto this bot side. Will come through the wall.
That didn't get a push, but...
Kog'Maw will flash here. Same with Leona, and I mean, if you're Andromeda, you're happy with that.
Forces 2 flashes, that is certainly big. Still hasn't even touched his bot side camp. Went straight for the crab, straight into the gank.
Yeah, some heavy trading on this top side. You see Mundo did take his base and TP'd back, picked up 2 cloth armors.
Skarner's looking mid now, I think, or... Yeah.
Yeah, but so is Zac here.
Oh. Ah.
Zac has an angle.
Yeah, they don't know where Zac is. He's behind.
Here he comes.
Has to flash.
Skarner is forced to flash, but I don't think this play will result in a kill. Zac doesn't have anything to follow up with that Q. Zenith Blade connecting on the Xerath. Xerath is in danger here as the Ignite comes down. Nami heal comes out. might be able to walk
Down.
away. Skarner does die,
Okay,
and
Gnome
Mundo's
is
barely able to
fucking
walk this out.
destroying. What? I don't. Okay,
Stanley now in danger.
I know we're playing a champion
Just
that
loses
has
some
insane
health.
ganks, but farm some freaking camps, dude. What they doing?
Mundo in a lot of danger here, just barely able to walk away.
I mean, credit to Noam. Finds the first blood, has double the farm. Like,
Sarvaris definitely coming out on top of this matchup, but yeah, it's just not looking great in jungle. I mean, Apari's only managed to take 4 camps as the Aurelian Soul will come out, and Stanley just picks up a solo
let's go,
kill in
Stanley.
mid.
Let's go, Stanley. All right, that's what you needed. You needed that because it was looking.
I'd love to see that from Stanley. Dean opting for what he thought was a counter pick, and Stanley showing him that it's not. Honestly, I'm not sure if I like this double cloth armor play out of Mundo. I think you're delaying that early Warmogs.
Well, is it the early Warmogs or the early Heartsteel you're doing?
I still prefer early Warmogs when I play this character. I think it just helps mitigate Mundo's weak early game so much. Especially to a champion like Yone.
There
it
you
means
go.
that you're, oh, the Skarner E will connect. I don't think...
What?
Skarner is just gonna die, and Leona's not even dead.
Bro, what?
Nami now in trouble here, as some heavy trading does come out on the top side of the map, but that's a big wave, and Yone's not going to keep that trade going.
The problem with these mage bots is once they blow everything, they just don't have damage to finish the kills. And that was a good gank, but Evan just sat there untouched and just autoed him down.
Zac is up here. Oh, the ult will connect, but I don't know if Sarvers is going to be able to get out of this one. Skarner's up here, but he might not even make it in time.
Smurfing. W up almost.
Stun lands onto Zac. I don't think that's who you wanted, as the Mundo ult is now worn off. The knockup comes through. W connects. Mundo's dead, and it looks like it's just going to be 2 kills for Andromeda.
Right,
well played by Sarvaris to survive that one.
Give it to him. Okay, yeah, that was insane. Well played to Sarvaris. Just to turn that play, it took Apari showing up, but wow, that was huge. That was huge.
Stanley beginning to feel the rough side of this matchup. Down some health here, as Nami will walk into this lane.
But
just gonna force Kassadin to back up a little bit, help Stanley push out this wave. PB now taking his turn in the mid lane. Kassadin ulting backwards. PB hex flashing forwards, but nothing gonna happen here. Sarvaris will make his return to base, happy with 2 kills and up 20 CS.
Dude, we are getting some insanely fun games. Like, I'm loving it. There's so many players just making really good plays.
The Yone will burn his TP and have a huge advantage over this Mundo.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, he goes for the Bramble Bash.
Yeah, but I think this Mundo just wants a Warmog. I don't think your goal in this lane is to kill Yone. I think your goal in this lane is to farm
And just scale, is that what you're
and
saying?
scale. Yeah. And I think the Warmog helps you do that. Because it means that you can walk up for some of these waves, and even if you get knocked low, I mean, all you have to do is just wait. Before heavy trading comes through, this wave is just in a terrible spot for this Mundo. He falls to low health, pops the ultimate.
Pop the ult! I think
We'll see if it matters here.
I don't think it matters.
Does not connect. And there he goes. Mundo down again. Yone now up to 3 kills.
And they're taking drag.
There's the
They
dragon.
should have been doing last game.
Sarvaris shows what he can do with this counter pick.
You had to have it. You had to
Yeah,
have
absolutely. As
And here
Andromeda
comes
will now
Apari
turn their
connect.
attention towards bot lane. The stuns connect.
it. Ari has ult here.
Leona locked up. Noam is on the way. Zenith Blade followed by Solar Flare connects on the Nami. Nami's absolutely popped. Skarner able to pick up the Kog'Maw. Xerath getting away from
Probably
Zach.
walked out.
I think Skarner can get away here. I don't think they have enough damage to complete this kill. Oh, but maybe Zach will
They
go
just turned
down.
it? What?
As here comes the Aurelion Soul TP, and
Oh, come on. Let Stanley get a kill there when he TP's in, but sure. Well played, well played. That was
well played
insane.
by Andromeda, able to pick up a couple of kills off of that. Now, Cassidy does pick up a plate in mid, and Asol will go down a little bit of CS. Probably going to look to make some kind of cheese play onto this Asol, but not necessarily in a great spot. Cassidy's just going to be able to walk this one out as Stanley flying forwards. Oh my goodness! The damage!
Oh my god!
Oh, Cassidy just barely escaping. This Asol is already so strong.
Yeah, I mean, big leads on the side of Andromeda right now.
Once again, Andromeda out to an early lead. They're about 2k up at 11 minutes here. Off to a good start.
The starter damage just surprises me nonstop. Like,
yeah, I mean that champion.
You get the push into the wall. It's like the burst is actually kind of.
Well, yeah, and those Qs and their, I believe those Qs with their percent
Honen's
damage health. Yep, Honen's in a lot of danger here.
Oh,
Solar Flare goes wide, but
I don't.
Leona's already on top of him. He's gonna try and walk this one out. No flash available to him, and he will just fall to the Cogmaw.
Yeah, gets caught out there. Not the end of the world. He could probably teleport back if he needs to, but you
Cogmaw
need
now
to
sitting on 2 kills though.
This should be grubs for sure. I mean, you can kind of go for Avery here.
He's going to be able to walk this one out because he's still got that passive spell shield. Liffy's on the top side, so it's going to be a grubs angle.
Yeah, I think they just need to be on them already.
A positive health trade for this Asol. He has that upgraded ult.
Yeah.
Cassidy cannot R forwards. If Cassidy R's forwards here, I mean, that Aurelion Soul ult will just land on his head.
And hey, I mean, Apari was like 0-2, but now he's 3-2-2. Once he kind of settled down,
yeah, able to bring it back a little bit. Has that first item completed even before Zach does.
Yeah, that's pretty huge, especially when Zach got that first blood and had that big farm lead. And I mean, on the side of Andromeda, you have a massive farm lead in top lane. You've
Absolutely.
got a little bit of a farm lead in mid. Like, I mean, Yone is set up to just carry at this point.
Yeah, this 40 CS lead in top lane. I expect Yone might be able to finish this Bork on this base here. Yep, there it is.
Oh god, he's full build. He's full build, guys. Watch out.
And now Yone just absolutely going to tear through this Mundo.
Yeah.
He's got to be really careful. Yeah, I mean, this Mundo, though, especially, has to be really careful or he will just keep dying in top lane.
Very true. Does manage to get a plate, like, with the Demolish, so...
Yeah, it's a little bit of gold back to him.
But now, what I really need to see Andromeda do with this team comp is do what Rift Shark did last game, just taking dragons on spawn and rushing.
That passive spell shield is off. 2 levels up. This Yone,
I mean,
gets Mundo to about a 3rd HP, and it's not looking good for him. Cassidy trying to trade onto Asol, but I don't think that was a positive trade.
Not really. And Stanley's just holding on to that ultimate, wait until he gets big value out of it. Probably just...
Yeah, I expect we'll see it around this dragon. Yeah, around the dragon that's spawning. As Skarner's looking into the mid lane, Cassidy able to just R away.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you can't gank a Cassidy unless he's just playing uber aggressive.
There you go, Cassidy R'ing forward once again. Skarner going to turn around and come back. Cassidy running down to the bot river towards his Zac. He knows his team is there.
You know, once again, you know, maybe Andromeda's saying we'd rather go for Rift Herald than Drag, but
I don't know if I like it. I think Andromeda has the stronger team right now. Maybe they don't feel like it.
I don't know. I can't tell you. I wouldn't do it if I was in the game, but you know, if they can get really big value out of this Rift Herald,
yeah, I'd wait an objective trade.
Break open side.
Yep. Either way, an objective trade will come through.
Honan just can't get
There.
out here.
Yep. Honan Zenith Blade connects, followed by the Solar Flare, and Honan's just gonna get popped.
And Honan's not able to do what Liffy was doing last game, which was stay alive in the side lane, in large part because PB's actually staying in lane a lot more than he did last game.
Yeah, well, Rift Sharks aren't making the same plays towards these grubs that they were last game. And
No, we gotta
because
dive
they're
here
staying
defensively.
bot, they've picked up a dragon, PB doesn't have to roam as much.
You know, and I mean, they're doing a good job because at this point, your win condition is Cogmaw, so they're just putting attention towards
certainly,
him,
yeah.
funneling him, and we actually do have an Ocean Soul again. Both teams.
Alright, here we go. Skarner on top side, but Moon still has that spell shield. But the
ulti,
Impale will connect.
but the
Pulls him out from under tower.
Oh no!
But the Let's Bounce comes through, and Yone's forced to just ult away. I mean, this Skarner's probably going to die here. It burns the flash even. Just barely doesn't kill that Kassadin. Zac is leaning forward once again. Xerath ult comes through,
I mean,
and
it's
Zac
fine.
will just die here. So they'll take it a 1-for-1.
Yeah, it's fine. But like, why are we forcing onto the already behind Mundo instead of playing for our other lanes? Like, he really doesn't need help at this point. Let him 1v1.
Yeah, I mean, I think the play looks okay if you're not trying to dive a Mundo. I mean, Mundo, he has the R, he has the health regen, you don't have any heal cut, and on top of that, he has a spell shield to block your initial pin to the wall.
I mean, you've done your job. Yone is fed, and he's going to stay fed, and he's going to beat Mundo for the rest of the game. Let's get some help towards the Xerath. That's what I would be doing.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd be
if
saying.
this Xerath can come online, maybe he can get an impact, but right now, he's building some of these burst-heavy items that we were kind of hoping we wouldn't see out of him.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I don't know. I mean, the burst can be there. And, you know, when you consider the fact that he's playing with Nami, and if she's like putting her abilities on him, it's going to add even more burst. So I can kind of understand it, but would have liked to see something else this game. And you know, Stampy's had this empowered ultimate for like 5 minutes at this point.
Yeah, I mean, just hasn't had a good reason to use it. I mean, with Andromeda giving up that that Drake, there was no fight. He's just gonna try and hold it and see what kind of major value he can get out of it.
Yeah, at this point, you're probably just holding it for Dragon 2 minutes, which is fine. As
Yeah,
long
I
as
think
they
we're
actually
expecting
take
this
that
top
fight.
tower to go down here. Yep.
Wait, did Avery do something here?
I don't think so. I think Yone with this work is just gonna be too strong.
Oh, he misses the stun though. Wait, he misses the W.
It's close.
Oh,
Yone flashing away. The Xerath ult will come through. Yone going forward once again.
really well.
Oh, he does manage to get the kill. Cassidy going forward onto Asol does get stunned and impaled by Skarner. Forced to try and R away, as Yone is now fighting Zac on the top side. Zac does not win this. I'm not even sure
Leona.
if Zac wins this with Leona. Okay, the Solar Flare comes through, and this is probably going to be a shutdown onto this Yone. Yeah, it comes through, as Skarner
Leona
picks up
gets
Kassadin on the bot side.
Yeah, they did actually.
But
manage to
Stanley's
chase
still
that
holding on to
down.
that empowered ult. Doesn't need to use it to pick up that Kassadin.
Yeah, that's actually insane by Stanley to hold on to that, but I really like it because he wanted this drag fight. And you know, Leona is the one that ended up getting Leone shut down. It's better than going over to Zac for sure. We finally see that Rift
Definitely
Herald
like that
with
more
Aether.
if you're Andromeda.
So
I mean, look at this Asol damage. I mean,
Yeah, you
he's
called it
melting this Mundo.
you called it out. Yeah, in draft you said.
He's
you know,
showing the
Aesol
power
gives,
of this pick.
gives him that tank.
Oh,
this might
he's
be a little
flying
deep, though.
forward, straight into Leona, is tanking tower, may have to use this empowered ult here, has not used it yet, he's just going to
holding,
keep
man.
out of tower range while Skarner tries to fight, but now
You could just-
Skarner's tanking tower and is locked up under tower by this Leona,
Alright. I might have ult. Oh,
and now the empowered ult comes through, and
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I don't know, it doesn't seem, it's not a good use of that empowered R. Doesn't
No,
really
we
get any
held
value.
it for way too long to use it at that point, but
Airheath stopping Zac's base.
Yone has shown up for the drag fight. Good call by Ben to roam down. I
Yeah,
think
but now
he can still
Asol
win
needs
the
to
fight.
reset and isn't going to have any ult available, much less the empowered ult at the start of this drag fight.
Very true.
He's going to have to base in TP. I mean, that Q, as we saw, still doing plenty of damage, but Rift Sharks have now actually gained the gold lead. They're up about 800 gold, approaching 1,000, as Andromeda just has not been able to make successful plays. Alright, we're starting to see the power of the Xerath. A healthy chunk of damage onto this Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw down to about 2/3 HP. Yeah. Eventually, Kog'Maw, we'll probably see him pick up some MR, but that's not happened yet. As Yone goes in on Cassid and just absolutely pops him.
Hey,
Starter potentially caught out here. Solar Flare comes down, but does not connect. As the 2-man Impale comes through. Akari's still in danger as Yone's going in on this Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw completely unable to escape.
There it is.
As a strong Andromeda teamfight brings the gold back to even, and Andromeda will pick up this dragon.
Yeah, well, they managed to group up. That was kind of crazy that Ben backed, went top, killed Dean, and then still TP'd to the drag fight. But
I mean, absolutely putting in work here.
Pretty much.
Skarner looking for Zach's camps. Gonna try and see what they can steal away while these members of Rift Sharks are still dead. Yone gonna look for this bot tower as the other members of Andromeda are able to knock down the mid-tier 1. A lot of towers falling, which means a lot of gold into the pockets of Andromeda.
Andromeda's playing really well. I mean, I don't even think Rift Sharks necessarily playing bad this game. I think it's just kind of the nature of the draft. You got put kind of behind. You had the members that you didn't want to get fed on the side of the
Alright, Muno walking forward onto Yone here. Cassidon is in the area.
He's hitting all the levers.
Gonna try and walk away, but not quite gonna be able to.
No ulti, but I think he can return.
It's jumping around. A TP comes through. That should be Asol. He is able to pick up the Cassidon, and there goes the Mundo. And Yone is still alive. Now the Xerath ult is used, and so is Aurelion Soul TP. Yone's gonna head back to base. Can Rift Sharks look to the mid tower? They cannot, as Skarner is now on the way.
Guys,
and it's just a 2 for 0. Impale comes through on the Kog'Maw.
Into the
bubble! Flare does connect.
Wait, Stanley's behind him!
Stanley ult is there. A good wave. Knocks up both of them. Lippy falling low from the Kog'Maw passive. Zach looks like he's going to be able to jump away. Leona on the run.
Wow. You know, 16-8, but we're only the 2K.
But slowed up, stunned. Leona will go down here.
How is it?
We're looking at almost a 3K gold lead here now.
I'm
well, it's because of the CS advantages. This Zach is still up. 20 CS on Skarner. This Kog'Maw's up. 20 CS on Xerath.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, get the flash out of Cassidy. Alright, so we're kind of in a similar situation to last game where Andromeda has gained a 4 or 5K gold lead in the mid game. Gonna have to see if they're able to hold on to it this time.
Yeah, I think scaling is on their side this time. I don't necessarily think it was last time. Noam may be looking for Xerath here, chooses not to go for that play as Xerath will back up. But I think scaling is on their side this time. This Asol is just going to continue to get more powerful as the Zac E does not connect.
Yeah, I mean, unlike last game, they have consistent damage as well through something like the Yone and the Asol.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no concern of Zac getting so tanky that you can't...
Apari might be caught out here as the Zac E does land on the Skarner. Skarner just going to choose to run through the wall.
Hey, who knew he
get
could
away.
get it?
As Asol comes in, that W took Asol so far. He has so many stacks already.
Yeah, Stanley's in a huge position, and I'm not surprised that Apari played Skarner. I mean, he plays Kane, just maybe chance to just go through walls, kind of his style, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, Andromeda's just in a comfortable position. You know, we take stock of what's coming up. We have Dragon in a minute 40. We have Baron up right now. They actually have a really fast Baron if you have Yone and Asol.
Yeah, absolutely. They can absolutely shred through this Baron. Second item coming out for Asol. Second item on Skarner. Yone's had his for a while, starting to get close to that Infinity Edge. But Kog'Maw and Cassidon, as well as Zac, all on 2 items. Certainly not looking weak. I mean, I think if you're Rift Sharks, you want to try and look for a fight soon.
I think you want to let Kog'Maw maybe get to 3 items. I'm not sure exactly, but the way Rift Sharks can win this is just Kog'Maw scaling to the point where he just has an insane team fight where he dodges out of like the Yone and the A-Soul and is able to just pump damage. It's gonna be hard.
Yeah,
to
I mean, you are trying to get Kog'Maw online here, but the longer you wait to take these fights, the scarier and scarier that this A-Soul gets. He's just gonna have more zone control, more damage. He'll melt through your front line faster.
It's very true. And that's not even to mention the scarier Yone gets. Like
right. As the Infinity Edge is now completed, Yone on 3 items at this point.
Yeah, that champion is balanced, everyone. Surely. But oh no.
The Zenith Blade does not connect. Stanley able to just fly out of that one.
Bye-bye. And now Dragon's up 7 seconds.
Dragon is up. Now the Aurelion Soul TP is available here, but it looks like Rift Sharks is not in a position to contest. They're going to give over the Soul Point to Andromeda.
Yeah, Stav has a good point in chat. It looks as though Kog'Maw is actually building Runan's third, and we discussed in the pregame draft that if he gets some magic resist on 3rd or 4th item, they could become difficult for the kind of everyone but Yone to deal with him because they have a lot of magic damage on Andromeda. But if he just goes for the Runans, he's very susceptible to just getting blown up.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not even sure Runans is the best pick here. Andromeda has a lot of range on their team. I mean, I don't know how much usage that Runans is really going to get.
Yeah, I agree. I think Wits End would be probably the more favorable item here, but I don't know. I also don't, if we're just going more drafts holistically, I don't love picking Kog'Maw when you're not picking an Enchanter. Like, I think PB's playing a really good Leona both games, so I understand giving him that, but I'm not really sure why we're picking
Yeah, PB's certainly comfortable on these engaged champions. Is Cassid in a lot of danger. Yone looking on him is able to pick up that kill and just snap right back.
Yone doesn't even have to hit the R at this point. He just gap closes with it and auto attacks. Like, it's insane. Like, well played the bin there, but yeah, I don't know. I don't love Kog'Maw. If you're gonna first pick Kog'Maw, we should be building our comp around the Kog'Maw. It's like, sure, you gave him some front line, but with no Enchanter here, it's tricky.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these champions from the side of Andromeda can even just jump straight through your field. I mean, if you're not building a Wit's End, Xerath damage is relevant. Yone has the Fate Seal, can R onto your backline.
Yep.
Even Aurelion Soul can pose a threat.
Yeah, and I've seen PB play Enchanters to a really high level in the past, and it's like, I just don't love triple frontline. Like, you have Leona, you have Zac, you have Mundo, like, we're not getting any of those. Like, that's too much beef in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing 4 melee into a comp like this. We'll now see Andromeda turn towards this Baron. They should be able to take it incredibly quickly. They are spotted out, but Zac is not in position. Mundo just going to throw some poke down onto this early smite, but it's alright. Rift Sharks are not nearby, and now Andromeda's going to try and turn his fight. Lizzie already burst out, a large A-Soul comes through. Cassidon jumps into 2 tanks, and he's just killed.
That's scary for a second.
Yep, Yone will start picking people up. Zac's going to be on the run, his passive will be burned, and then he will go down. Oh!
Big shutdown. Big shutdown.
Yeah, the Aurelion Soul for Kog'Maw trade. 2 shutdowns come out. I'm not sure if that's worth it if you're Andromeda.
I mean, you ace
them
and you get
that
Baron.
trade. I'm not sure if that trade is worth it if you're Andromeda. Obviously, you know, you pick up a Baron, you get 5 kills. I mean, you're in a fantastic position from here. You're up 7k gold.
I think Stanley just overheated a little bit, maybe. Like, you probably don't need to go that aggressive because you don't want to be dropping that shutdown. But you got 5, you killed 5 and you got Baron.
Oh, I mean,
they're not going to be mad about that.
No. It looks like Stanley's going to opt to build towards the Rylai's next. I think that's a strong choice here.
And Kog'Maw is actually going for some armor right now. I assume that's building into like a Jack show, but...
Yeah, I would hazard a guess that it's Jack show, but I don't know if I'd be building the armor component of that item first. Maybe you're scared of Yone?
I'm not even sure if I'm going Jack show if I've already committed to like Runans and shit. Just build lifesteal or build full damage at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. personally. I think if you were going like wits in third, then maybe you want like that.
Alright, Yone TPs to the bot lane, but there are 4 people down here. The
Surely he
will
dies.
not connect, as he's absolutely shredding this Mundo. 2-man ult.
Okay, Kog'Maw picks
Three-man
up
ult,
another
but-
shutdown.
Yeah,
Like,
another.
what?
We're letting Kog'Maw just pick up shutdowns. As Yone now goes down, he loses both the Baron, the shutdown, and his TP. I mean, you can't be letting that happen if you're Andromeda.
I mean, yeah.
Andromeda will try and pick up this top inhibitor turret.
Dean
in
just hit level
exchange.
16 as well, so he has just hit that big power spike. 3 items.
Yep.
you
Now
have to be
Andromeda
careful here
looking towards
for
this inhibitor.
Andromeda.
Impale does connect. Oh, but a great solar flare. The Nami wave
Cassidy's on the
comes
back
out.
line.
And Xerath is just immediately dead.
They're killing them all.
Down goes Nami too.
Dude.
Asol goes down, and now so does Skarner. And it's just a 5 for 0.
I'm like mad. I'm not even in the game right now. How are we over? Like, I don't know. When once Cerberus dies there, which is fine. Like someone's gonna die because they're gonna overload a lane, but you can't be extending that far when you're down a man and they have this kind of engage.
Yeah. Andromeda still with a 5k gold lead, but Rift Sharks will pick up another dragon here.
It delays their soul. It delays the game. What this is doing, and Kog'Maw hasn't even spent those shutdowns yet. Just
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what items. Yeah, we'll have to see what items Kog'Maw picks up when he returns to base here.
And if he gets full build, it's probably winnable. Like that fight where Yone was 4v1 bot lane, he was kind of looking fancy for a second, but Kog'Maw was untouched autoing. He died pretty fast. That's all it takes.
Yeah, I mean, Rift Sharks does have plenty of CC. I mean, you can't just walk into them expecting to kill them all. You really have to be aware of the amount of CC that they have and that they can put on you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're still fine if you're Andromeda, but you're at the point where you can't just like flex your wallet anymore. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
You have to have a coordinated engage on keeping
Right.
ADC Kog'Maw.
So Kog'Maw just able to finish the Jock Show. Nothing else here. Will make him a little bit tankier, but I'm not sure how much it really helps into this Asol Yone duo.
I mean, they're fine, but you have to get a coordinated engage on your Kog'Maw. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it comes down to.
Kog'Maw's certainly looking strong at this point. Xerath probably not going to do much damage to him anymore. Xerath's going to struggle to find targets as the Yone ult does go wide. Kog'Maw flashes away.
Oh, can't get the
Just
last
barely
hit.
able to live.
I don't hate the play because it's so close to working, and you actually, honestly, that's a good play because you force out both
Good
summons
play, yeah.
out of
Kog'Maw-
Kog'Maw, and now with no flash, no barrier, Kog'Maw should just die to the next team fight because he
Yeah,
shouldn't
you're
be able to
trading-
get out of the Asol ult.
You're trading very little in return. Yone doesn't even lose his shield bow. And Kog'Maw now has no sums. Definitely
think
punishable in the
You
upcoming
have to
fight.
you have to win the game while Kog'Maw flashes down. In my opinion, because if you
Yeah,
don't,
absolutely.
it's going to be full build by the time you flash.
Yeah, I expect our next big fight here is going to be around Baron. Andromeda probably ready to force it. They are still ahead. This Yone, still quite strong, just can't wallet check everyone. He's still 100 CS up on this Mundo.
Yeah, but yeah. It's
But if you're
close.
running in
It's close.
1v4, you're not going to be able to...
And
make
you know,
the
that
plays you
play was
want.
the first time we've seen what I would consider like classic Honan Xerath, which is him just dry ulting the enemy AD carry like at any point of the game. And
Right.
Kog'Maw's difficult to do it against, so that's why we hadn't really seen it very much this game. But that's classic Honan Xerath right there. Is if you're up on the mid wave by yourself, I'm just gonna ult you like. And maybe he can look for that again, and Kog'Maw can hopefully die this next time because his flash will be down if you're a Rift or an Andromeda fan. But I mean, Dean is on, like, Dean almost has Zanya's 4-item Kassadin, like, Dean is scaled.
Yeah, 4-item Kassadin, definitely something to worry about.
Dean deletes Xerath and Nami if he's able to find them.
Absolutely. as this Soul zone control does continue to get bigger. I mean, his E's are looking absolutely massive now.
Okay, we have the empowered ultimate on the side of Asol. You know, we didn't love that last empowered ultimate that he had a while ago. This one has to be doing it. And you know, when Cogma has no flash, it should be on him.
Skarner and Nami starting up the Baron here, as here comes Asol and Yone. Now they're most of your Baron damage, so...
You know, I like this call because, like we just said,
Xerath kind of in a weird spot. Could get caught here.
Flash for like 15-20 seconds.
Yep, the Baron will just get absolutely melted. Andromeda now turning. Alright, they're not going to start a fight. Rift Shark's going to back away. Andromeda going to head to base. And I think we're going to see what's going to be a push to try and end from Andromeda.
Yeah, it's either a push to end, and if they're playing so safe that you can't get the end angle, it's just a push and then back off into Soul. But honestly, I'm in a position here where I think you're on a timer with this game at this point. I wouldn't even be 1-3-1-ing like they are. I would just be 4-1-ing. I would have Asol mid with Xerath, and I would have Yone on the bot wave and just say fuck top lane. Like, they
I definitely agree here. Cassidy might be caught here. Chooses the ult.
He's going for the kill.
Zonius comes through. The Impale is used, so a lot of ults were used, but Cassidy will get shut down. Asol's gonna go to base. He's gonna teleport back, and I think Andromeda are in a good position here to pick up this soul.
I mean, at this point, you kind of have to have Noah maybe try to steal, but if he tries to steal and he just dies for it...
Yeah, I mean, I think if Zac dies, then Andromeda's looking to end the game. I think you have to give Soul and just hope that you can get a good fight with your Kog'Maw.
Looks like Kog'Maw's going last item, Blitz in, which everyone's got to do. You still have that empowered ultimate on the side of Andromeda. You still have Baron for a little while longer, and like I just said, I think at this point you kind of, like, I'm not an ARAM fan, but at this point I think you kind of just group. Like,
yeah, I mean, your team fight is still just incredibly strong. You really don't want to be losing important members like Yone or Asol while they try to push in side lanes.
Yeah, like we have Yone going top right here, but no teleport. Like, if you're ever gonna get a fight, Cassidy should TP behind right now, and they should hard engage mid.
Here they come. Rift Sharks walking forwards. Fiona flashing in. Solar Flare connects, and Nami is just instantly killed. Asol on the run. Xerath on the run. Xerath not going to be able to get away. Will get locked up. And there's the downside of sending Yone to a side lane once again.
I'm spelling it out for him. I guess I'm seeing the future right there. Like, if you just ARAM there, they can't make that play, and you end the game.
Yeah, I mean, they're not allowed to walk on you when you're there with your Yone. As Yone now comes over the wall, and it's forced to just dash back.
You know, I don't think anything too dangerous is going to come of this. Other than just delaying the game.
Carter comes in, but is running in 1v4. The Aurelion ult is still available. I mean, it's a big ult, but Leona will go down, so they'll be able to pick up one.
I guess they
drop it out, running in. Yone ult doesn't connect on anyone, but Asol is flying forward, doing so much damage, but now he's sort of out of position.
Kog'Maw's untouched!
Forced to flash away. Kog'Maw is going untouched. Yone now on Kog'Maw. Can he pick up this Kog'Maw? Kog'Maw is picked up, but it's just Stanley in a 3 versus 1 here. Liffy now back to provide support.
It's just not clean. Like, it's just really not clean on the side of Andromeda the last couple minutes here. It's just misplaying your map positioning. If you don't have teleport, you can't go to the side lane against this team comp. It's just going to hard engage on you. That or your team has to back up until you're actually pushed up to an objective, to a turret. But you're still seeing the angles. I mean, we're at the point now where we're going to start having full builds on everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. We're reaching the point where, the gold lead is now, I mean, at this point, the gold lead is negligible. A lot of people have strong items. Yone, absolutely full build, even has the Zephyr.
Fist fight behind the Denny's, Mason says. I love that. What is Mundo building with a longsword for last item?
Mundo's going to build an Overlord's Bloodmail. Or a Titanic Hydra.
Okay.
One of the two. Both strong items on Mundo. I think, personally, I believe that Titanic Hydra is the better option because of the double attack reset that Mundo will get. This tank looks more like a burst champion.
At this point, he does, yeah. Although I'm having trouble seeing it, but does that say that Mube only has 167? On
Yeah, he
Heartsteel?
built this Heartsteel pretty late into the game. He wasn't able to finish it for a long time. Chose to build other items into this Yone. Meanwhile, this Skarner up at, I think, what
800
might be
something?
800 stacks?
855, I think. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not an expert to even give an opinion really on this, but I'd be curious at what point is it like it's not worth building Heartsteel if you're getting it so late because you're not going to get stacks versus just getting another tank item versus getting even like a Frozen Heart or something this game.
Yeah. I'm looking at these Asol E's, and they are the size of a lane now.
Yep, Stanley's full build. Stanley has Rabadons.
He's also 6 Stardust away from his major ult here.
That's true. Yeah, I think you have to win on this ultimate.
Yeah, we know that ult has the capability to turn a team fight around, especially with a full build Asol on the enemy team.
And you know, we're continuing to split push on the side of Andromeda, and I'm not loving it because we're not, like, we've taken every turret except the base, and Rift is playing in a way to where 1-3-1ing isn't going to break the base.
Yeah. The empowered ult for Asol now online. Baron spawning soon. That's going to be where our major fight is at.
I mean, unless you can force someone to match Yone bot and he's able to actually find a 1v1, it's going to be difficult. And yeah, Stav points out, does he not need a pin item on Asol? I would kind of agree with Mason here. I don't think you necessarily do when you have Leon.
Yeah,
Asol's not really like a Void Staff user. You can kind of sometimes build them. Maybe
if you're gonna build a pen item, I'd be going a Crypt Bloom on Asol probably.
Yeah.
Just for the healing, but I don't think that pen is necessarily the best here. Kog'Maw, I will say, not going for the Wit's End, opting for the Terminus instead. I'm not sure if I like that play from him.
Oh yeah, you point that out. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I consider Terminus more of. I mean, I guess we get tank stats, right?
Right. Yone.
Okay, we're having double TP.
Yone TPing in. Baron is started up. Mundo TPing in.
The fireball just works!
But Impale just completely misses. Yone now completely locked up. Solar Flare connects.
Wait, Stanley's just caught in the back.
Light separates into 2 parts. Stanley trying to fly away. Very big Asol ult. Zenith Blade connects, but it's just Leona on this Asol.
Kog'Maw's arriving. Kog'Maw's arriving.
Kog'Maw's here now. Xerath's still up.
Wait, no one's touching Kog'Maw.
Leona will fall.
No one's touching Kog'Maw. We're just going into Kog'Maw.
There's no Kog'Maw.
Dude,
Kog'Maw's able to just completely clean up that fight with a triple kill. And now Elder is spawning. Elder's on the cards. With a jungler and this Kog'Maw up, Riftsharks is going to pick up this Elder.
Yeah, they are. Damn, that's through Ocean Soul. They're able to find that team fight. Well played by the side of Riftsharks though. And that was with Kog'Maw being late. Like, they just kind of stun locked Cerberus at the start. He did a lot of work in that fight, but it's kind of an awkward start to the fight.
Yeah, it's just not enough. And then Stanley caught alone. I mean, hits a big ultimate, but then is completely kept out by PB's Leona for a long, long time, losing a lot of health just to that Leona. Just unable to finish the kill.
We have to mention that Afari whiffed his freaking ultimate at the start of the fight, tried to go for a one-man ultimate onto the Dr. Mundo, and whiffed it. Didn't even hit it. I don't even think it's
Alright, so Riftsharks have Elder. It's only on 3 members. They did not get it on the full 5. But I expect Riftsharks to take a base here and start looking up towards this Baron. Full builds are coming through. Skarner's over 1,000 Heartsteel stacks. But Xerath is still 2 items behind?
Yeah, Xerath has a long way to go.
He's only sitting on 3 items.
He's getting all assists this game, down in farm. Like, he's doing, I'm sure on the damage charts he'll have good damage, but just hasn't been able to get the gold. And at this point, you kind of almost are forced to give them Baron here because you can't take a team fight against Kog'Maw unless you are just going to one-shot him from the start. And at this point, I don't even know if you can one-shot the Kog'Maw unless you hit him with everything.
Alright, Zach moving forward. Apari completely locked up. The wave does connect. Asol comes down, but Asol is so low.
Like, Cassidy's killing
Cassidy's
everyone.
absolutely one-shotting everyone. We let the Cassidy scale, and that's it. Riftsharks are going to win this game.
And
we'll see what Yone can do, but
once again, we have Yone in the side lane with no teleport, and they just do not respect the hard engage on the side of Rift Sharks. And yeah, both games were insanely close. Andromeda was in winning positions in both games, but you know, we talked about it in draft. I said it. I said this Rift Sharks draft is some DM saying we don't think you're gonna be able to close out, so we're gonna outscale you. And lo and behold, it's what they did.
Yeah, I mean, this Cogball just goes untouched for too long. They're unable to find the kills on the Cogball, keep him out of the game, and now here we are.
I don't think it's hard. I don't think it's unfair to say that's one of the closest 2-0s I've ever seen.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was a well-played series by both teams, but, I mean, Andromeda just unable to close it out.
Yeah, well played to Rift Sharks. I think they played well. I think they have things they need to clean up as they head into the finals. I think if you make some of those mistakes in the early mid-game against a team that's a little bit cleaner, that can close it out a little bit cleaner, I think they could get punished, but Andromeda just wasn't able to find that they weren't able to, they had winning positions, but they weren't able to close it, and in the end, it just bit them both games.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That'll be the end of the stream. There's another game coming up on.
I guess we didn't mention MVPs in either game.
Oh, that's true. We didn't pick it. We can pick MVPs real quick. I would say game one goes to Avery.
Yeah, Avery.
Game two goes to maybe Evan for that Cogmal play. Evan or.
Yeah, probably. PB? Yeah, probably Evan. No. Well, PB's a good shout too, but I'd probably give it to Evan.
All right, so we'll say MVPs go to Avery and Evan.
I think so.
We have another match on Sunday between 101 Thieves and Metabusters, so we'll be back for that.
Okay. Thanks everybody for tuning in. It was a really fun series to cast, fun series to watch.